What's going on, Board Wars Nation, and welcome back to the official Board Wars podcast. I am your host, Gusta Guy, with my co-host, the awesome JD. As last time we met here, we were in person on that couch or I guess chairs.
Yeah.
And, man, I was pretty blurry, and as people were relentlessly letting me know.
Yeah.
In the comment section, which I appreciate that. I don't know why that happened, but now I'm very clear, and you're very clear, and we're here to talk about the awesome Eclipse weekend we had last week. And later on in the episode, I hear we have some awesome interviews with some legendary players, JD.
I'm excited.
So, but before we get to that, we got to talk about the Eclipse game here. And I would say, JD, like we kind of say this sometimes, like, hey, go actually watch the game. But seriously, if you really want to see like some of the best games we've ever seen in Board Wars history, go back and watch these two Eclipse games, the Sun and the Moon Division game. Because I don't know about you, JD, but it was just cinema all weekend. And we kind of knew it was going to be, but it really lived up to the hype, I thought.
No, yeah. I think we say this every time. I think I say this every time, like, go back, watch this game. This is the best game ever. From at this point, those last two games were the best ever games. Like, you go back and rewatch. Like you said, cinematic, the like what it meant to every single team, each of those games, like every single minute, like the odds were changing, who was making the playoffs. There was like some of the most insane plays that we'll talk about in a second from game 29. There were some of the craziest game endings, comebacks from teams. Like, it was just insane. I was standing up the entire time. Obviously, I played the second game, but that first game, I was watching it, trying to see if the Ash Bears were going to have a chance for the playoffs, and my heart was racing. It broke a few times throughout the game, and it was a fun weekend. Go back and rewatch those games.
I think that Sun Division game took years off of JD's life.
No, it did.
Like he was watching at home, and if the Beavers won, he was out of the playoffs. And the way the game kind of went out is actually to probably a happy JD was watching, but the Beavers got targeted very early with stuff from the Purple Dragons, who kind of teamed up with the Salamanders. And, Slushy was across the board from Drew, two legendary players, rich history, rich rivalry between them. And, the Beavers needed to win if they wanted a shot at playoffs. The Dragons not only needed to win, but then they needed the Jets to win. And, it was a pretty rough situation there. So they teamed up on the Beavers almost immediately. They got Drew kind of on his heels as he lost his best player, Markiplier, and his third best character, Vision.
Yes.
And they kind of knocked him out of the game. He was struggling to kind of get back with it. He had Ash Ketchum, which is a really good diamond, one of my favorite in the game. And he was kind of able to kind of rebound and team up with Meow Meow, who was building up really well. And then there was this really controversial moment where it sounded like Meow Meow had made like a pact with Slushy. And Slushy was really mad because Meow Meow would then continue to TARDIS over and then kill Dr. Doom, Slushy's top card, with Doomslayer. And Slushy was pretty mad about that. I don't know if I can speak to whether I thought that was like a true backstab or not. It kind of seemed to me like a little bit of a JV backstab. Like, like I don't know. We kind of have like something going, but nothing's in stone. And the way Meow Meow was talking was actually smart because it didn't seem like he really agreed to too much. But Meow Meow went over there, wiped a bunch of JJ's Slushy's team, and then Slushy kind of just shut down. He kind of scrambled. He kind of attacked the wrong people. And he was the first one out of the game, where as soon as Drew got taken out earlier, we all thought that Slushy was going to win. He ended up being the first one out. The Dragons were kind of next, and Meow Meow was kind of taking them out. And the apocalypse had started, right? Because Slushy was down. And but before the apocalypse started, Drew pulled something out of his sleeve that was really interesting. Do you want to explain what that play was? I think it was one of the best plays in Board Wars history.
No, yeah, I agree. I think, before I even describe it, I was just thinking about it. And I was like, I want to ask Drew if this was like planned from the start. Like how early on do you know this play? But I'll describe you if you weren't watching the game, if you weren't a part of this. Basically, Drew's down a few guys. He has Ash Ketchum and he has some of his lower guys, but that's kind of all he got. He's kind of sitting back like what Drew does. He was able to just kind of get his way out of it, kind of be like, I'm not the biggest target, which was true in that moment. Like he wasn't the biggest target. But if you looked at the board, you saw one of his Pokemons kind of walked his way into the hyperbolic chamber. No one said anything. No one knows anything. A whole turn goes around. The Pokemon's sitting there, so the Pokemon now has the 3 action that turn. If he's in hyperbolic chamber, he switches out whatever Pokemon is in there for Mewtwo. If you don't know Mewtwo, he attacks 5 to the 4th. Correct? Everyone on the board.
Yeah. 5 to the 4th, everyone on the board. It's Mew, though.
Mew.
Not Mewtwo.
My bad. Correct. Thank you.
Close.
I was close. Mew. 5 to the 4th, everyone on the board. Which is all right, but that's not game changing, like if you weren't watching. On top of that, he was in hyperbolic chamber, so we can see it 3 times. So that's now 15 to the 4th. But the thing that changes it is that he had the lightsaber. You know what the lightsaber is? It's uncontested damage. And he was able to do it 3 times. Because of this play, Slushy's already down, but there's now 2 full teams. Because of this play, Drew completely wipes the board off and switches from him being dead last to him jumping on top. After that, there's only 2 guys. There's 3 guys alive. There's Doomslayer left with like 5 or 4 health.
Just because he had so much shield,
yes.
Even though it did so much damage, like,
Yeah.
I mean, 12 to the 4th damage is a lot of damage, but he had like 160 something. And then Meow Meow had Lucas, who had the superstar.
Yeah.
And then the dragons, I think, had Banjo and Kazooie because they were invincible as well, but they weren't really a threat. And then immediately after that happened, Drew got Saitama.
Yeah.
Which was ridiculous, like an insane summon, one of the best summons we've ever seen. And JD, what was going through your head watching that? Because you needed Drew to lose.
Yeah, Gus, I was really confident, like, because right off the bat, Drew got jumped on. I was like, yes, like this is exactly what the Bears needed. So like I was pretty comfortable. I was like watching the game, like this is a good game. Like I'm watching it, like feeling good about it, thinking about the next game. But when I see Drew switch that, my heart drops. And then when I see him get a summon and it's Saitama, I actually fell on my chair, guys. Like I fell to the ground. I was like, there's no way this is happening right now. I was like, what are the odds? Of course, Drew is kicking me out of the playoffs. It was a bad time. The group chat was texting the team group chat. Parker was watching it. I was texting Max. I was like, this might be it. Because I had just texted him, like, we're in a real good spot. Like, I think we're good. Like, get ready for tomorrow. And then immediately this happened. And so I'm like, guys, this might be it. Like, turn this on. Like, we might have to hop on here to give our goodbye speech.
It's tragic. And as soon as that happened, I mean, the apocalypse had started because of that crazy play.
Mm-hmm.
Started raining on the board. The board started becoming ocean. It was Noah's Ark. People started congregating into the Ark. And there was a very interesting situation where Drew's entire team was gone. Drew had Saitama in the Ark. Meow Meow had Lucas in the Ark. And then he had people who had a bunch of health who weren't in the Ark but were still alive. Now, the reason that's important is because of how this interaction went between Lucas and Saitama in the Ark. Because Lucas was rolling 2 abilities every single time. And he's got 4 options. One of those 4 options, if he rolls it for his ability for free every turn, he gets to give full health and I think it was like 30 shield to anybody on his team. So he was attacking Saitama, and as long as he got that 50-50 chance of full HP, even if Saitama attacked him back, he would get close to killing him, but it wouldn't be enough because he would just get to regain HP. And Drew was getting unlucky because that just kept happening. That just kept getting rolled. So it was a game of, can he whittle down Saitama's health? Or will Saitama get lucky enough for him not to get that full HP? and that would decide the game. So like I said, there were people who weren't in the arc, and they would live for a few turns. So as long as Saitama killed Lucas, I mean, those guys would drown out there in the ocean. They would get damaged and just die. So it really came down to Lucas versus Saitama. Lucas got to a point on the last turn of the game where he did not get that health that he needed. Instead of getting that health, he had one of his other abilities that he could deal 50 damage to a tile. Saitama was at 60 health. Now, because he got that 50 damage and he didn't get the healing, if Lucas didn't kill Saitama on this turn, Saitama was going to attack him again and win the game. Lucas, if he dealt 10 damage during his attack, could bomb Saitama afterward, dealing 50 damage to himself, but also Saitama in the tile. And because he had people outside of the arc, that was fine. He would survive. And we got down to that final attack that basically decided the game. And I mean, we were freaking out. I think it was 8 to the second attack to deal 10 damage. And man, it was like 7. I think like the third or the second hit was a hit for 7. And I was like, oh, it's over. It's going to be a hit for 3, right? Because that's all he needs. The 4th goes by, miss. The 5th goes by, miss. The 6th, the 7th. And in classic Drew Board Wars fashion, it came down to the final hit in just the most cinematic, earth-shattering way to determine the Beavers season, to determine your season, right? Oh my gosh, so much was on the line here for the Legacy Cup, and the final attack happened. And it was a hit for 4. And Meow Meow beat Drew at the final, the final roll, the final moment. And man, rough loss from Drew.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's frustrating, but like, man, it was a cinematic game. And here's the thing. I think we all know how good Drew is.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all know that he was in a position where he probably should have pulled away with that. He kind of got unlucky there at the end. And like, you know, all of that is good and well, but man, one thing you can always say about Drew is his games are always going to excite and impress. You know, they're always going to be fun games to watch. And it was just an insane Sun Division game. I mean, what was the Astro Bears moment like, seeing the Beavers lose like that in the Sun Division?
Oh my gosh, it was insane. I mean, I was home, so I was just with my brother, Little T, who's on the Bears, and when we saw that last roll happen and it was a hit, we were jumping, we were hugging, we were like, we have another chance, we have a chance. Like, we were going crazy. I'm sure we woke up our parents. I'm sure they were asleep right above us. It was, you know, that happened. I text Dan. I was like, all right, Dan, game tomorrow, I'll come through. I was like, you got me, I got your back. And he was like, yes, sir, get it done, Captain. I was texting Max. The group chat we were talking. We were all ready. We were just excited because we knew, like, if we got to this last game that we were confident that we could get it done. That's really what it was. We were like, we can't control this if Drew wins or not. There's nothing we can do here. But after that happens, and since Drew lost, we're like, we control our destiny, and we have a good of a chance as anybody else.
Yeah, no, it's true, and because of that Sun Division game, and that's why we called it the Eclipse, right? Sun Division game Friday night, Moon Division game Saturday night. Friday night, you saw that you had a chance. Going into Saturday night in that Moon Divisional game, I mean, JD, you played yourself, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, walk us through just how that game began.
Yeah, so I mean, before the game even started, I think we had, 12% chance to win just off the math. Obviously, the Bears, we didn't believe those numbers. We saw the numbers, like, those don't mean anything. But I think it's important to say, before the game even started, it's important to recognize that the Jets were going to make the playoffs as long as we didn't win. And on top of that, I needed the Jets to get 4th for it to be like and for them to get 4th, me to get 1st, to be an automatic into the playoff. So before the game even started, there was this weird tension between me and El Nino. So right off the bat, the game starts. He's side 2. I'm turned side 3. He immediately gets TARDIS I'm freaked out. I'm gonna be honest, Gus. I was scared because at that point I had speed, but I didn't have like an automatic way straight to his spawn to take him out. He did. He had the TARDIS. He could spawn right over and start hitting me. So I was scared of that, but it seemed like El Nino didn't want to use that right off the bat. So it gave me like a couple turns to kind of get ready. So I think it was on turn 3, or I guess turn 2, Invincible gets the Tesseract. With Death Star my spawn. If you don't know what that means, basically Tesseract can use your action to get that tower reward. And Invincible, his ability is he can't die. He can't die unless the rest of his other guys are dead. So basically that means is I could go into Death Star with Tesseract, use my action, Death Star someone, and the next turn, Invincible gets flipped back and he comes back on the board with the Tesseract still. So I basically had an infinite Death Star loop. On top of that, I had Jeff the Shark, who I decided to run over to El Nino's team and suck everyone up except for Saitama. I dropped them in train station, and I was just going to kind of attack a few of my guys, and I was going to get Invincible in the Death Star and finish him off. Unfortunately, if you're watching the game, I say I'm an honest guy, completely blundered. I completely blundered, guys. I didn't get the Death Star off that first turn. I don't even know what through my mind. I don't know what happened. The pressure got to me. I accidentally used the action. I was thinking of something else at that time. I was thinking too far ahead. Completely missed the Death Star. So basically, I have this entire team just sitting in train station, like each taking like 20 health. Like none of these guys are gone. They get teleported to the other side. Luckily, since he got teleported to the other side, he doesn't have TARDIS with them. So after that, the whole turn was able to go by. And by then, I was able to start picking him off using the Death Star and then able to run over with Naruto. I was able to steal his TARDIS, so he was kind of just stuck there. There's really nothing he could do except with Saitama with his blast, but wasn't able to do much. After a couple turns, the Jets were gone. They got 4th place. I wiped them off the board. Things were,
and that's just what you needed.
Exactly what I needed. Things were going our way. I had my full team still. Naruto had a bunch of points because he had a few kills, so I had a lot of clones I could spawn in. So Ash Bears were in a great spot. I was feeling good. The problem is, right after that happens, Straw with Goju with his blue, with his purple, makes a genius play, pulls us all in with the bomb, with the Tau wide, and he sucks in all my guys, and he sucks in all of Meow guys except for Stanley. I think he named it Volt.
All of Accio
Dubs guys.
Yeah.
These games are getting combined in my head. They're getting blended together. It pulls in all Accio guys except for, he named it Voldabub. Is that what was he? Did that what he named it?
Yeah, Voldadub.
Yeah, because he had Voldemort's ability, which comes in later. But he pulls in everyone except for him. He does so much damage. There's a controversial call where you have to get off the stream to decide how much damage does. And the reason this is so important is because this decides whether all of my team is completely team wiped and the Ash Bears are eliminated from playoffs and the Jets make it, or Naruto is left with 10 health. You get off the stream, you talk about it, you call some captains up to get the right decision, you come back and decide the ruling is the ability goes off, but Naruto is left with 10 health. The Bears are still in it. The problem is I have one guy left with 10 health when there's with Straw's entire team. Along with that, I had Muhammad Ali, and I had his ability on him. So when Goju did that, it immediately killed Goju, which I don't know if he realized that, because then he's down a legendary. But he was able to still wipe my team off. So I was in a great spot. We were still in it. You know, the Bears, we always played to the end. But right across the board for me was AccuDub, and we thought that Bears thought he was going to run over and finish me and take me out.
Just kill Naruto.
Kill Naruto. He only had 10 health. He just has to hit me, and he gets all those Horcruxes. AccuDub does not do that. So my turn comes around, Invincible comes back, and I'm able to grab the Maximum Tomato and heal back up. Unfortunately, also during that turn, Stanley gets the kill with the Horcruxes. He now has 7 Horcruxes across the board, and there's so many items, there's so many CPUs across the board. At this point, it kind of looks impossible to take him out.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, Horcruxes are one of the most busted things in the game. He just can't die unless all of his Horcruxes are removed.
Yeah.
And he picked, I think, a few. It was revealed at the end of the game. I think he picked 3 CPUs, like 5 items just across the board. And I don't know, it looked like for a while it was impossible for JD to win. Like it really did. And I mean, I was in the booth with your former captain, Johnny. And there was a point where like you got hit with one of the Horcruxes, and I was like, I feel like this is game. Like he's gonna kill him in a few turns here. I started playing the winner takes it all to kind of, because that was the theme of the weekend. The winner takes it all, to set the ambiance for your exit. And then a few turns later, we were like, wait a minute, that's not actually happening. So Voldadub, despite picking the Horcruxes with Stanley's ability, which was cool, that was a cool ability, didn't really allocate his stats wisely. He gave himself like the most health, which doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Because if you're invincible, you don't really need health. So maybe give your top spot to something other than health, But then also like he gave himself the least speed. So he only had 3 speed. Meanwhile, JD had a million Narutos. It felt like. And every time he wanted to deal permanent damage, because he couldn't reach Naruto because he was so slow, he had to pick which one of the Narutos he wanted to hit with his Horcrux magic. And, that was a guessing game, which he kind of got lucky on a few times.
He did.
And then, meanwhile, JD also had Invincible, who was invincible. And, like gaining all the different items and trying to like destroy them to try to get the Horcruxes off the board. So it was really a game of, could JD get all the Horcruxes off the board before Dub kills him inevitably? And the apocalypse was Five Nights at Freddy's, and JD kind of did this awesome maneuver where he got all of the animatronics to kind of group on Voldadub, I guess. And because he only had like 3 health, every time he would move 3 spaces, just all of them would follow. And like, they weren't a threat to really anyone other than him. And then he did a pretty good play where he kind of did like a train station.
Yeah, that was
kind of mixed some things up for the end of the game. And man, it came down to the wire, but you were able to find and eliminate all the Horcruxes and win the game. And it was cinema. It was a crazy end game. I was so beat because I think it was back-to-back games and I was missing things left and right. And hey, shout out to Johnny if you're watching this for sitting next to me over here and keeping me straight. But I mean, man, it was a crazy game, JD. It was a crazy weekend. And now your team, the Astro Bears, are in the playoffs. And as a player, you've never missed the playoffs.
No.
Which, I mean, other than like the cuties, I think you're like the only player that's true for.
Yeah, I can't think of. Yeah, I guess so. I guess other than the cuties, all the cuties. But yeah, no, I was so excited. I mean, coming to the season, the goal obviously was to make the playoffs. That's what's always in mind. It happened the past 2 seasons. I'm not planning on ever missing the playoffs. I mean, that's it's the whole point, win the cup. But I mean, once we got to playoffs, I was so excited. Our team is ready. I think we're in a good spot. We start off slow, or we start off hot, and then we got a little slow. We hit a little road bump. So I think at that point there was a little bit of doubts in our mind. We're like, man, teams are starting to catch up to us because we had a big lead in terms of APF and wins, but teams are catching up. But we knew we just needed 1 win. That's really what it was. And once we got that win, that last game, just our mindset has now just been, let's go get the Legacy Cup. And we've just been focused on that. And
man, I'm trying to go back to our playoff predictions here.
Oh yeah,
because I want to see who the most accurate was. And the conclusion I kind of came to is that I was the most accurate.
Oh
Mr.
my gosh.
JD, because 3 of my 4 picks made it. I predicted the Sallies, Bears, Raptors, and Dragons. So the Dragons were wrong. I only got 3.
Yeah.
You predicted the Sallies and Bears as well, so you got 2.
Yeah.
But then you also predicted the Dragons and the Jets. Another dub for the Purple Dragon over
And
here.
see, if I didn't win my game, you wouldn't have beat me. I made myself lose.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Well, yeah, it's crazy how that stuff will work, right? It's crazy how that goes.
Sorry, you can have that one. Yes, you can have it. I'm in the playoffs, so I don't care.
Yeah, and JD, we do have a lot of awesome interviews lined up for today.
We do.
We're just going to go through, take one of the coolest players from every team that, not just one of the coolest players, but players that we haven't seen on the podcast, like at all.
I know. I'm excited.
We specifically picked people that we haven't seen yet, and we're going to ask them some pressing questions, and we're going to get to our media week, the Legacy Cup Media Week. And the first person we are interviewing today for the 1 seed Salamanders, for the first time in podcast history here, we got the one and only Slushy. Who else?
I'm happy to be here.
Captain Caden, Vice Captain Straw, Max Power out of the Astro Bears. Very exciting there. The new captain of the Los Cuties, the man himself, Caleb Ward. Over there in his dorm over there. How you doing, Caleb?
I'm doing great, Gus. How are you?
The first season, the team went trophyless, but I was happy to pick up one of these, Offensive Player of the Year.
So iconic.
This is an antique. We'll never see any trophy like this again. Gus was just telling me. Happy to hear about that. And then
beautiful.
Last year, I had to pick up the Depoy as well.
Depoy. Oh my gosh.
If can't have one without the other.
In the presence of a legend here, and Slushy, even though the first 3 games haven't gone the best, I mean, hey, we're hoping to add to the trophy case here.
Yeah.
Near the end of the season.
I think that's what, that's, we were talking a little bit before we started, but I was saying this has really been a tested season for me and has really tested my mentality and tested my resilience. And I failed, most of it, but I think the fact that I'm here, I'm being able to put on a smile, and it's not forced. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I can live with my mistakes and grow with them.
I actually have some bad news, Caleb.
Oh.
We ordered a bunch of hats for the Board Wars draft, and they didn't get here in time. I actually think you helped pay for this.
I did. I wasn't going to say anything because it was like $30, and I know you're good for it, and I trusted you, but I was like, where's my hat, man?
They will be used. Well, and here's the exciting thing, Caleb. Actually, everybody who's watching this video can check the link down below, and they can buy their very own Board Wars hat as well. But I have one here for you and your team that hopefully we can use for the draft and the ceremony, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I do have some bad news. Yours is kind of ugly. This is the Raptors hat, by the way. Pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sick.
Hold on, I haven't seen that
fantastic.
before.
Yeah. This is the Salamander hat. It's got a Sally,
that's cool.
Smoky Sally right there. Beautiful.
No.
I have some bad news, Caleb. Yours is kind of ugly.
How bad is it?
Forgive me.
Hey,
little Astroverse
look at
hat.
that.
I noticed that you've been
Oh my
wearing a hat here
goodness.
today, so I mean, brace yourself.
You got to put it on.
Brace yourself.
Oh, God. That's not bad. That's not.
I think it's kind of ugly.
No, that's not terrible.
And it's got cutie. Los
Okay,
cutie on it.
Nah, Gus. Okay, I thought you're pulling my leg here. I thought you. It's just because it's green, bro, and you're not a huge. Yeah, okay, never mind.
I was actually thinking we could start, you guys, you handsome lads, by going through these hats, and you guys could give a thumbs up, thumbs middle, or thumbs down, whether you like that team or not, and the people that are on it.
Hold on. Wait.
Whether I like them, I thought it was like the hat.
Are we trying to make enemies? Yeah, I was gonna judge the hat.
Yeah,
Be
like
that
Board
looks pretty
Wars,
good.
I got Board Wars beef with, obviously no real beef, right? But
I'm almost afraid that I might burn some bridges here, or maybe that they're whoever else did this, they rated us highly, and I'm about to just be like, nah.
you know
But
what?
you know what? We keep it real. We keep
You
it
gotta
real
be
here,
honest.
so I'm not holding back. I'm not
Honesty,
holding back.
and that's why we wanted you, Caleb. We knew you would be honest here.
I kind of feel bad for doing this, but also I don't because we're trying to win.
Yeah.
Like-
Oh yeah. You gotta.
But eventually that kind of just devolves into a rivalry, or evolves. Sorry, it evolves
True,
into a
yeah.
rivalry, and then it makes it even better.
Rivalries are awesome. I mean, that's a core part of what we like doing, right? So, I mean, we can start with this team.
I really like the
I-
hat. I'm
I
a
really
big
like
I'm a
that
big
hat.
Sally's fan. I was a Sally myself.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. What about you, Straw? Why do you like Sally?
I mean, it's gonna be hard for me to give a thumbs down to any team because I feel like almost all of my games have it's just been really nice with all the players. Mainly, I give a thumbs up because of my games I've had with Gideon, which it might even really be only one. And it was just at the end after we played, he's like, "Dude, like I respect you so much. Like any game we can make an alliance. Like I'm gonna trust you." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's good. Like we got a good thing going." So I'm like, "Yeah, Sally's got."
They're a popular team. I mean, they're the kind of the politicians. You know what I mean?
I gotta say thumbs up. Like with the Sallies, I think they're definitely one of my favorite teams in the league. Just because I love how Gideon like runs his diplomacy, and I think it's very consistent. And I always love how he says he's like, "We're not gonna lie to you." And I think because they like stay so consistent with that like belief, it makes me like really, really trust them as a team. And I think going forward, especially in the playoffs, I'm definitely like I'm for them 100%.
Yeah, we're good with the Sallies. Great guys over there. You know, I have a lot of respect for them as players. You know, they're really good. You know, Gideon is doing his thing, Slushy doing his thing. But you know, we work well with them too. Like you know, and I'm excited to see how they fare in you know, the upcoming playoffs.
We'll start with this one. This should be an easy one, right?
Dude, that's the easiest one. I'm a huge Llamas fan. Like, how could you not? I feel like
For sure.
one, like that's my roots at the end of the day. Like that's like my ex team. Like I have to be still supporting them. I feel like no matter what game we go into, like I always want to like team with them just because like, you know, good relations with John Mark and the rest of that team. So
I actually like a lot of the Llamas players. I think as a team, I'll go thumbs middle.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm not partial to them. I am partial to the Sallies
That makes
because
sense.
it's my home. That's where I started.
Yeah, I think I just don't have many memories of playing with the Llamas thus far. I think I really liked watching Meow Meow play, so that's why I'm more like leaning towards up. But the only reason I would go middle is just because I not having the experiences, I can't give a solid opinion.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, no, I don't like the Llamas.
Not a big fan of the divisional
No,
rivals. That makes sense.
They're terrible politically.
I think I know how this is gonna go.
You know what? To shock the Board Wars community, I think we might be at a neutral stance right now with the Llamas.
Whoa!
Strides have been made, and whereas previously that might have been an immediate no, because they have backstabbed us not once, not twice, not 3 times, but probably countless times that I couldn't even think of all of them. You know, strides have been made, and we have reconciled a little. There's some forgiveness there, and I think hopefully moving forward, we have better relations with the Llamas.
Oh, the bear! I really okay. That might be some of my favorite
It's a
colors.
fire hat. It is a fire hat.
Yeah, like that's a good hat. The Bears as a team, if we're really, I think I love JD.
Okay.
And then like I've had like some good experiences with the Bears, and then we had like some more iffy experiences with the Bears. I think like we've been feuding though. It's been a tough
true.
head-to-head season.
Now they're in the playoffs too.
Yeah, I know. And you know, I was telling JD, I was like, you know, I'd love to see the Bears go to the playoffs. It'd be great. It'd be it's his first year as a captain, right? That's a huge milestone. And being able to make a team perform that well, I've had respect for the Bears, so I'm gonna give them a thumbs up.
Astro, that's actually a really nice hat.
I like this one. Yeah.
That's a
They
good
got good
hat.
colors.
I'll give the Astro Bears. I give the Astro Bears a thumbs up. You know, I like JD.
We not a fan of the Bears. That the viewers know the real name of the Astro Bears. Emphasis on the former. And
Crazy.
just as a as a Board Wars team, like they're
Yeah.
we
You gotta have some rivalries,
I love
right?
we have some rivalries. They're tough competition a lot of the times, so that's sometimes a pain. And I love JD as a person, and he's a great captain, I think, without a doubt. But definitely carried over some of those llama tendencies, and I can't say that it's fun playing with them sometimes.
I think we have a rivalry. I don't think as much as a heated rivalry as the llamas and the cuties have. It's more of like friendly banter rivalry stuff. Especially our last couple of games, because I did feel bad about nuking JD a bit there in that game, but he ended up winning, so maybe I don't
Not the
need
worst
to
in the world.
feel that way. But so I still like I like that rivalry. I think that's also a thumbs up.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree. I think the Bears are probably top contender right now. Like we've had some stuff with the Dragons too. And I like the Dragons as well.
Yeah.
But rivalries are fun.
Well, you know what? We'll do them next, and they're pretty purple and black.
Yeah, and man, I really like purple. I think I just like all the hats. Bro,
Yeah, I was about
just
to
like
say the
all
same
hats.
thing.
Oh man, I can't even
I
say
think
that I
that's the
don't
same.
like one. Now the Dragons, I don't know if I have like a decent. It's not like I have like memories of like having the best game ever hanging out with the Dragons. Reese, is there anything that you can think about?
I feel like I'm so boring because there's like no teams I can give a thumbs down to, but the reason that I'd want to give more of a thumbs up is because it was their kindness that allowed us to even get to the point we are in the season, which was that tie we had where they ended up not breaking that tie and keeping the trust. So I mean,
That was all on
I
us.
kind of have to automatically, it was on us in that. So I kind of have to give a thumbs up just because they allowed us to get to this point. I can't.
For sure.
fault
Yeah.
them.
I think if the Bears are a thumbs up rivalry, Dragons are more of a neutral rivalry for me.
Mm.
I mean, I guess if I had to pick any team to give a thumbs down to, maybe it's the Dragons.
Oh.
But that's not like
Wow.
it's not like I dislike them. Like that
Breaking
feels like I'm
news!
more like
Jaden hates
boo,
the
Dragons. It's more like I like
That's
competing
the
with
title
them.
of this episode.
The Dragons feel like I'm fighting to win, like I'm like competing with my anime rival,
Yeah.
who's like the edgy one. But maybe we're the edgy ones, or we're just both really nice, and like we don't know where we belong whenever we fight each
I
other.
like that.
I gotta go.
I'm not going to be offended.
I'm going like this.
Oh! Did last game have
Um,
anything to do with it?
So last game it was I'm not gonna blame it on him. I'm gonna blame it on the fact that the captain's a Liverpool supporter, and that I hate Liverpool, and so by
sure.
proxy,
For sure. Nobody's allowed to hate me right now because I'm Tottenham and they're bad.
you're getting relegated.
Oh, no, thumbs down. Thumbs down. And okay, this
It's a
is
cool
just
hat,
a this is just like it's a sick hat though. It's a sick hat, I won't lie. But this season, and this is nothing against the individual Dragons players. I love those guys. I love them. But like I've kind of been like cooked a little bit by the Dragons this year. I'm not sure what it is. I feel like I'm trying my hardest to like work with them, but I don't know. This year it's been a little tricky. I think we kind of got our get back by like making it into the playoffs, but yeah, I would have to say thumbs down. Like I can't with the Dragons right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll go neutral with Dragons.
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Neutral. I wouldn't give them a thumbs up. Not like, because like I can't really think of anybody. I mean, I could think of people, but
That's a cool hat right there.
as an organization, I think they're. Can't think of any positive or negative really interactions with them all that much. Like they haven't screwed us over, but they also like.
You had a pretty
haven't
good
really
deal with
upped us, I guess.
Tribesmen earlier in the year.
Yeah, it's if it's not, I guess like as a rule of thumb, usually if it's not negative, it is positive. So like either it's here or
Sure.
so,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I like the side. I think that's warranted.
I think side's fitting for them.
But
Raptors, I like the Raptors. I
Yeah?
think Caden's done a great job, and I think
Sally
the other
founded the team.
the other two Cadens are also doing a good job at helping him.
Going down. No, man. No, we not fan of those Raptors, man.
We're not fans of the.
I'm sorry,
Raptors.
Caden, I love you, Caden. Your team sucks. I hate it.
Yeah. No personal beef, but like in Board
it's
Wars,
nothing.
you hate this logo.
Oh, actually, I'm not gonna lie. That might be one of the most sick ones.
Yeah.
I love the black build too.
Cool.
So I would give this one a thumbs up. The Raptors have just been like my biggest like surprise team this year at least, and I feel like they just like flew on the radar for a lot of other like people within the community. Because I don't know, like I didn't really have them on my radar going into this year, and now I feel like they're number one. Like I feel like no one's doing it like the Raptors right now. I think like for them being in our division, like we've been able to see it firsthand, and they just have so much talent on their team, and like they might be just one of the most like smart like group of players in the league right now, and I think no one can really argue that. They're going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs, and I'm really hoping like we can work with them a lot because they're a team like I feel like I would love to work with.
The Jelly Jets.
Yeah.
I like the hat. Is that purple or the purple? Is that pink on the side there?
Yeah, it's good.
That looks awesome. It's good with the color balance.
I think so too.
All right. The Jets. The Straw, you go first.
Yeah, I was just gonna have to give maybe the biggest thumbs up for my personal experience, just because I have been most directly involved with the Jets out of any of the teams. They've invited me to practice games, which I was very fortunate for, which they've been 2 very good practice games. I've talked to their players the most with Mr. Java and Python, and they're just all really, really good guys. I appreciated them thinking of me for these games, and especially, I was a bit sad to see them not make the playoffs. Like I was hoping to be able to see them and then maybe see a little bit of conclusion to, well, not conclusion, but continuation of Mr. Java's story. Maybe he gets a win in the playoffs. So it's I don't want to bring it down the energy or anything there, but that's why I'm like a very big thumbs up to them. They're all good guys.
That's good.
Yeah, the Jets have been super fun. Like Mr. Java's been great. We've been talking like on and off, and it's been great talking to him about Board Wars and like different terms and like his thoughts for like the season and like how he's excited for like the future of the league and how many people are getting into it. Like he's a great leader when it comes to like a team and just putting it together and stuff. It's been great having the Jelly Jets in our division. And like I said, they could have made it. Like anyone could have made
It's true.
it. It was just a matter of like the cutoff.
You know what? We'll go thumbs up. The Jelly Jets. In terms of how I like them personally, they're all great guys. So, and no beef with them. They're all great.
But in Board Wars?
Yeah, you said how I liked them personally. So
No,
I'm gonna take
I'm
that
talking
over.
about their team in Board Wars, Caleb. You don't like the Jelly Jets?
We can move on to the next one. We don't need to.
Jelly Jets. Okay. I would say for the Jets right now, I'll just say to the side. I'll say to the side because I really liked what they do. I really love like their new like talent they picked up this year. I think like someone like Beast Squeeze is like super talented. And like they just have so many young guys who are coming up, and I think John Avila did a fantastic job like recruiting for the team. And like moving forward, they have such a bright future, and I think that they're going to be a good team. I give them to the side though because there is other teams that I feel like I would throw more support at just because whatever. But I think there are a lot of potential coming up, and cool hat by the way. Like that's see, all these are like sick,
Yeah, they are. Other than the cuties, I think we cooked, but
So I feel like I don't have that many bad relations with a lot of people. With a small handful, I feel like I hold grudges. But with the Jets, it's more of my captain.
Gideon doesn't like the Jets.
I think it's the Java and the hodgepodge between it, and that's what drags it down. But I'm going halfway just because I personally don't have any grudges.
Okay, I like it. I think you broke news there. I think Gideon hasn't come out about that. So
Oh well, sorry about that. Just some.
Hey, I love it. I'm here for it.
What? There was a comparison between. I like the cuties. I like the cuties.
Gross.
That's
hat.
very, very bright.
Yeah, it's great.
It looks like Yoshi.
Oh, it's the cuties.
I think
yeah.
what I will say, it's just that the brim and the hat itself being the same color, I think, is what might throw it off.
Completely agree.
It's giving Luigi vibes.
Yep, it's giving Luigi.
Oh man, I think
Sorry, cuties.
it would probably be. I don't know if it'd be good if it looked like a lemon lime hat either, like yellow and green or red and green. I mean, I'll have to give. I'm gonna have to give it a thumbs down for that.
For the hat. No, we're talking about
First one.
teams.
Yeah, for the hat.
Hats.
That hat, I'm not gonna lie, that's a thumbs down. That's like that hat doesn't. I'm not gonna lie, like it's kind of just an interesting color.
It's ugly.
Like, and I'm not gonna lie, I like the cuties as a team. I really like them going into the playoffs too. And like as a team, I like their players, I like everything about them. But like I'm not gonna lie, that hat is kind of chopped. Like I don't know what else to say.
Well, we're
like,
not grading the hat. We're grading how you like the team. So would you give the team a thumbs up?
Well, going with the team, I actually would give them a thumbs up. I wasn't really sure we were going there, but I really do like the cuties. I think the cuties are, one of the most obviously one of the most veteran teams. I mean, I know like Luke and Caleb, they just do some like amazing things, and especially like someone like Alex Bruns who like just knows how to win games. Like they have like a fantastic like group of guys who, I mean, they made it here to the playoffs. So I feel like they just know what they're doing. I'm hoping to work with them a little bit this playoffs. I know they have, some alliances, kind of going in, but I feel like they're definitely such a solid team, and I definitely like them, and I respect them a lot as an organization.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun with the cuties. We've had some banter. Straw, you want to talk about what you were hoping to do in the playoffs?
Oh yeah, just hoping to play with Dr. Luke. We had that stuff in chat just because, I mean, Dr. Luke is a legend, and I respect playing against good players because I think it's just a fun experience to try and test my own skills against them. And then, so when I saw that Luke was not playing in the final game, I was like, oh man, but he's like, maybe we'll see each other in the playoffs. So I'm like, well, I guess we both have to make it now to the playoffs. And we did, and I've had a conversation with him over call as well, and he's quite nice. So I mean, yeah, I gotta give thumbs up.
Gotta love.
And I had a great time playing with Luke on the game that I won.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, but it was like, it felt like I did something that like really hurt his team. But he was like, yeah, bro, that was a great play. And Luke's just a great guy. So like, it leaves the saying often goes bittersweet. It left a sweet taste in my mouth. I like the cuties.
Yeah. What about this team?
Beavers. I'm like this.
Okay.
I'm
You're
like
different.
this.
So far, the only team you've not liked is the Dragons. That's hilarious. But I mean, what's the indifference there? You like Drew, well, you're kind of rivals with Drew.
I'm rivals with Drew. It's a respect thing, and I think I always derive off of that. Like I said, the only reason I gave the Dragons a true thumbs down was because of the Liverpool thing. and that would never be let down.
You know what? I'm like neutral with the Beavers, honestly, and I'd even be willing to go thumbs up on that too.
Really?
Yeah, I like the Beavers.
You like the Beavers? Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they are part of the bloodline, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, you know, Drew's a great captain and got some great guys on their team. I don't think they've ever really like screwed us over.
I would say like to the side. Like I feel pretty neutral about them right now. I think they're a solid team. I think they're a good young team, and they have a lot of like really fun players. I think someone like Charlie Klein is like actually like super underrated for that team. Me and JD talk about it all the time. Like, he's around like some of our games because his brother's on the team, and like I think he's one of the best new young minds in the league. And I think, you know, Drew wasn't as involved this year like many of us know, and I think he like has so much potential behind him with that team. So I feel like, you know, not like super like high, but not super low. I think they're probably like in the middle for me. Like they're a solid team, and that's a solid hat too. That's a good looking hat.
I like this one way more than the Cuties.
Yeah, the Cuties is
like
the
it's
worst
a little bit different with the yeah. Which is sad. Like but I did see possible boxer briefs before the season started.
I did
Those
too.
were kind of sick.
Those were awesome. The male model with the Cutie logo just right on the P flap.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, this is special.
What do you think about the Beavers?
The Beavers, I actually really like the Beavers. I had beef with Charlie. I think a lot of people had beef with Charlie. Yeah. He's brewed this for next season and his coming games. Yeah. Whenever he stopped me with the Millennium Falcon and I was stuck in the corner.
Oh my god.
And Guts was in there and he's like in his berserk form and he's like, oh, like I just it was really fun to play against a new player and him actually do something so smart and like just cut you off.
Yeah.
Because I think he performed really well that game too. And that was his first game of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He won.
I believe. So it was amazing. So yeah, with the newcomers in the Beavers, with Drew coming back and getting back in the season, it's been a whole lot of fun, like experiencing more Beaver love.
Yeah. What do you think, Straw?
I think for me, the Beavers are similar to the Llamas, where I just haven't gotten to have as many experiences with them. But all the experiences I have been positive. I guess the freshest one in my mind is in our last game with them and Timothy. And I guess seeing the will of, who was playing in that game? I'm so
Ryan.
sorry, I'm forgetting the name. Ryan. I thought I was going to say Ryan. I just did not want to get it wrong. And him being like, dude, I've had like 4 hours of sleep in the past like 48 hours and I was playing this. I'm like, I respect to you, brother. Like, I could not even fathom playing this game on even like 8 hours of sleep over 2 days. Come on.
I would have passed out.
Yeah, it's even though, like I said, might be boring. I'm gonna have to give like another close to thumbs up on that one. Like I'm just a lover. What can I say? You know?
It pays to be a lover in Board Wars. Well, you know what? Now that we've heard the official captain stance on all of these teams, I mean, we kind of have to get into the meat of tonight because, you know, as much as I love you, Caleb, we didn't just get on here to have you look at some beautiful hats that everybody can buy in the description.
Okay, I will say that JD, the Astro Bears hat is fire.
It is fire.
So
it is a cool
links down below, guys. But don't buy that. Buy the Cuties one because
I like it. You got to rep the team.
Yeah, we all know which team's the best.
Yeah, and playoffs coming up. We're gonna figure that out, right? And so I guess Caleb, as the captain, I'm interested to hear how you think this season has gone for the Cuties. It seems like in a lot of ways it's kind of been the status quo. But also, really, my main question is what your feelings are like going into this playoff run here.
I think honestly, my feelings haven't changed a ton about the ceiling, or this season. I know we were there for a bit of a stretch that almost seemed to last forever. We weren't able to get a win. We got some wins early, and then trying to think, was it like a 7-game
It was
maybe
something
longer,
like that. Yeah.
a stretch where we just couldn't get another one. And, I heard there was some speculation that, the Cuties
7.
were going to miss the playoffs. They're washed. They can't, down to the wire. Cuties aren't that team. All pure speculation, of course, because real ones know that was never the case. As a captain, I had full confidence in my team to make it down the stretch. Sure, we went on a bit of a losing streak there for a little, but 3 teams have to lose. So we got the wins when we needed them. We're in the playoffs for the 3rd time in a row, and we're just gonna continue to thrive. And I don't know if we exceed expectations, because the expectation is excellence. So honestly,
It's true.
we just met expectations this year continuously.
Even after our first win, I was like, you know what? A win, that's a seasonal win for me, baby. We're doing pretty good right now. We got a win. We got people playing games. We're having fun. We're not really upset about our losses. We're learning from them.
Yeah.
It was great to have this developmental period. And then as we won another game with, I believe it was mine for the 2nd win, and then we had the 3rd win, and then we had the 4th win. It was oh my gosh, this is insane.
Yeah.
We went from 0 to hero in a sense. And whenever Mike Concord called us out, I was like, I'm taking this personal. We're gonna try and actually win games. Straw called me up and he's like, hey, I'm taking all my Fridays off. We're gonna play these games.
That's awesome.
And then so we weren't both there for every single one, but we were there for quite a bit, and especially in the last 3 months, we've been as active as we can, and that's been the most success that we've seen.
It's true.
Yeah, I think it is kind of putting our heads together a bit. I do think that even early in the season, we may have been a bit of just a sleeper pick, because even though we hadn't had many wins, our placements in our actual game quality was not poor. You can't really tell that from the standings when you look and you see a team at the bottom that has 0 wins halfway through the season, and you're like, well, what's going on there? And we've kind of had conversations about this, that it is skill to win a game. Your APF can be a solid 2. You could have the highest APF in the league, but it doesn't matter if you didn't get that win.
Yeah.
So I think that we learned from our mistakes of the games that we didn't win, and throughout our whole season. And I really started involving myself more in that second half following Enigma and Caden's win, mostly because I wanted to get more involved and had more of the opportunity to get involved. And I think really being fully present for almost all of our final games, and having in my mind constantly board wars, and I'm assuming Caden as well, is just thinking about that weekly and having it fresh in your head. It just kind of keeps compounding over and over and over again, where then now you become this kind of encyclopedia of board wars knowledge that you can just take that and then keep pushing forward. And it turned out into success. And even though I wasn't able to quite take it home at the end of the season with my game, I still think that I'm excited for what the playoffs hold for us. I think that whatever happens, we'll put forward an entertaining performance, and I think that's all I can really ask for.
I love that. I love entertaining players, and that's what we live for, right? The thrill of the fight, I think. The path to the playoffs, Max, has been very interesting for the Astro Bears. You guys started really hot. You kind of had a little bit of a slump near the middle/end of the season, and JD got it done right at the end. The odds were as low as 7% or 8%, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
So, man, but you guys made it. So I guess, what has your feelings been on how the season went for the Astro Bears, and what are your feelings going into the playoffs here as a team?
I think you said it pretty perfectly. I think we started off super hot. I remember I was able to win my first game of the season. That was exciting. And then Dan had some great games, and then we had some really hot starts from Parker and Ben. And I feel we were on a good roll, and then like we hit a little like stump in the middle of the season, and then we had to like kind of find our way at the very end. But I still feel like it was a roller coaster of a season, but our highs were so high that I feel like, even moving forward, we can have more consistency in the future. We made the playoffs, so I guess that's the ultimate goal. But I feel like moving forward, like having more consistent games, like, finishing what we started and like stuff like that is going to lead us to be better. But overall about the season, I feel like we had a solid season. I think you can't say you made the playoffs and had a bad season.
I agree.
So I think we did pretty good.
I agree. And I'm guessing you think you're going to fare pretty well in the playoffs, despite it being your first time.
I think we're going to be doing okay. I think it comes down to diplomacy at the end of the day. And I think that's definitely one of my favorite parts of the games. So I think in the playoffs, as long as we can, diplomatize well, have like good relations, and then also just like understand how this game is going to work and like how those cards are going to work, I think we're going to be, successful. I think it's going to be a tight like series no matter what, because that's just kind of how the playoffs are going to go no matter what. But it's going to be, I like our success in the playoffs for sure.
I think I'm always going to like our chances into any game. Not even on me, right? We have Gideon, who's captain of the year. He's shown he can win those nitty-gritty games where you have to kind of rat yourself out of them. But he's also shown that he can pull off those quick one-hit, wins in like the matter of a turn or two.
It's true.
And you got Goob, who's, Gideon's really taken Goob under his wing, has pretty much taught him all the ways like he's played. And so like I feel like that's just a great team to go into the playoffs with. I didn't even bring up Dan, who unfortunately missed most of the season, but he had a great first showing for his first game of the year, and he can always get a win when no one's expecting it. And I think that's his best aspect. But I'm always going to like our chances, and I'm always going to like my personal chances as well whenever I go into a game.
Not to brag on my guys too much, but like, we have some great Board Wars players on the Cuties roster. I don't think there's a single person that I wouldn't be confident in being like, yo, we need a win right now. Like all the Goosewells, you got the GOAT, Dr. Luke, Alex Bruns, like we're stacked.
That's true.
I mean, I could take a game myself in that, and I'm fully confident in any one of our abilities to win. So I think moving forward to the playoffs, that's the mindset too, is that each game that we have, we're competitive, we're coming to win, and we'll be a force to be reckoned with for sure, because I don't think there's a single game that we don't, I don't know if expect to win, because you're not going to win every single game, but like
sure.
we're in that game ready to play. I think some teams, maybe not the playoff teams, because they're also stacked, but some teams, you have those guys that you're still training up, that you're still working in the organization. So those games, you're not necessarily expecting to win those. You're the main goal, honestly, for a lot of those games, for a lot of different people, the amount of games that we play in the season is exposure, and training up those guys, helping them get better, the long-term investment in those players. But for the Cuties, every game is like, every game's winnable. Every game is competitive, and there's always growth for everybody. No Board Wars person is perfect, for sure, but every game we're playing to win, and every single one of our players is capable of winning.
So I think it's fair to say that you were confident before the season started that you would be in a position like this.
100%.
No, I thought we weren't gonna make it. If I'm being honest, I'm like, all right, we got another developmental year. We're gonna be getting Straw. We're getting Enigma. I'm picking up like 3 other guys. I'm hoping that we can all get better. And I was like, all right, well, we lost a game, we lost another game, we lost another game. I'm like, you know what? It happens. We have a 1 in 4 chance with skill weighing in on the odds as well. We'll probably win 2 by the end of the season. And I know that's not enough to get to the playoffs, but after last season, I think, what did we go? What was it, 1 in 11 or 2 in?
It was 1 in 11. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only Enigma that won, I think.
It was not a good season. It was like, all right, guys, we have this awesome game, and then they show up and they're like smacked with the dictionary on like how the game plays, how many tiles there are. Straw and Enigma have gone through so many practice games, and they've been learning so much. It's really like it's all the effort has slowly rolled into this big snowball, and like by the end of the season, we're much more refined in the way that we want to play. We actually make game plans going into them. We're like, all right, how are we gonna play? What do we plan on doing? Who are we kind of looking at for like maybe early targets, or like how are we gonna weigh our possibilities going into the mid game? It's been a whole lot of fun to just think about how we can go about each game, and we've kind of adapted to many different play styles. It's not like we're aiming to just do offense this game, or like offense or defense on this game. Like some games we're like, yeah, we're gonna play defensive, and then we have to turn it up. You have to do something to try and win. You can't just play defensive. I think they're like, and I think the best defensive players know that. Like, they can play defensive, and then they had these tools in the box that they open up, and it's like Pandora's box, and it destroys like 2 teams.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm would just be echoing most of what Caden said, so I'm gonna keep mine a little shorter. But mainly, like, my thoughts at the beginning of the season, I wasn't even really thinking playoffs that much, whether we make it or not, because I think I was mainly looking at my past season where I'm like, okay, I don't have a win yet. I kind of been building up towards it with, I had 4th and 3rd and 2nd, and I'm like, okay, this season my goal is to get a win, or at the very least improve as a player. So going in, I had 2 games relatively early. It was like 1 in September and then 1 in November. And so both of those were second places, and I think I learned a lot from those games because I can look back at a lot of my games and say, oh, I made this huge mistake right here that I can identify as the loss to this game, and that if I did not make this big mistake, that was more or less a knowledge check than a real, like, oh, I rolled poorly. It's I just wanted to start lowering those. And even though I got to the end of the season without a win, I am happy with what I've learned, and I think that the last game I played was still like the best game I played, just with some unfortunate rolls at the beginning. But I think that if I had to probably ask myself at the start of the season, it probably would have been no, probably not, because I'm still learning this game.
I feel like you have to be confident in your team. You have to be confident in your, your ability and like your other players' abilities. Because if you're not, I feel like you're not going to be going anywhere. Yeah. So I think from the start, like, we were super like, okay, yeah, we're making the playoffs. We're winning this all. Like, we don't see any other option in our head. And that's not in like a cocky way. It's more of in like a confidence. Like, you have to be like confident in your team. And I think every team should like be thinking that. They should be like thinking is like, oh, I'm a barbecue beaver. Like, I'm going to win the playoffs and I'm going to like win MVP. Like, that's what it should be, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And you could say it in like a humble way, but I think like in your head, like, you should be confident in yourself and confident in your ability. So I think from the start, like, I was very like confident in my team, and I think, I knew we were gonna make it from the start.
I wanted 6 wins. That was the goal. Was 6.
Close.
Exactly, it was close. So I would say we I wanted something ambitious. We got right under it, and it put us in the perfect situation. So how could you be mad about that?
That's right.
It's shooting for the stars, and you landed on the moon, and you're still one of the first to do it. So,
and you really did land on that moon there. I mean, the 1 seed is pretty nice, and obviously we've been talking this week a little bit about the advantages that you get being the 1 seed. And obviously the main thing is you get to be the first team to choose your spot on the board. So how much of an advantage would you say that luxury is to be the 1 seed.
So this is funny. Me and Gideon view it completely differently.
Mm.
I view it very important. I viewed it as like, hey, like if we without this 1 seed, our chances, like we said a little before stream, go from like a little to none. Right? Like if we have to be able to control like the tiles we use, who we're almost next to, right?
Yeah.
That's important in the 2-peak conversation, and winning a chip in general. So
Okay.
I like the fact that we're the 1 seed, and I find picking your spot is very important.
I would say it's definitely an advantage getting to be able to pick your spot, but it's also like a double-edged sword at the end of the day. I feel like with the ability to pick your spot, you could, of course, go into super far like depth, like looking like what's going to be your best option. But also doing that, you could, take a lot of time. I remember last year when, we were on the llamas and we were thinking about like, okay, what spot are we going to get? Like, what are we going to do here? Like, it was a lot of like work and like a lot of like extra stress just to like pick our spot. So I think going into this year, not having the pick, it just gives us something else not to worry about. Like, we can focus on the game. We don't have to focus on the spot. We'll take what we get and, just make the most of it. Like, I feel like it's just not an extra level of stress for us. That's what I think.
I think it is a pretty good advantage, but for great teams, especially like the Sallies, it's not going to be a deal breaker, honestly. It's just like a lot of it comes down to personal preference, I find, too, in play style. Because there were a lot of times when, not necessarily like in games, but, maybe you're talking with some guys like, oh, like, where would you have gone or whatever? Like, my preference for the tiles that I'm most comfortable with, that I think I can utilize the best, isn't going to be the spot that other people are going to take. I've played practice games where, somebody chooses spot number 3 and it's like, ooh, I would not have gone there. I don't want it. I don't want those tiles.
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose spot number 4. But I think spawns have historically been a big indicator because of your what's it called?
Play style?
Where you placement on the rotation. So being that number 1 spot, having to put your guys out, not knowing, number 2 could just blitz me right now.
Yeah.
And, nothing I can do about it. But I think the trend has been a little away from that as teams begin to take those first couple turns more defensively, I find, more often than not. So the worry for that is a lot less. And so I think that factors into the strategy of choosing a placement based off of tiles rather than caring too much about where you are on the rotation.
Every single game, whenever you release the board, our first thing, and I'm sure a lot of teams' first things, is to evaluate the board and evaluate what your basic strategy, no matter what your team is, going forward. And then your strategy will alter maybe slightly, maybe majorly based on the characters you get. So I think that there is a massive advantage to being able to choose your side. However, there's other things you have to consider where, the one side of the board might not look strong, but it is the team itself that will make that side of the board stronger. So it's a little bit of a facade going in. So, that kind of, it changes up your strategy because, you kind of want to go for the strongest side just on paper, but that might not actually be strongest side. Just a quick example that I can think of is in Enigma's second win of the season, where we spawned on a side where there was a few tiles. There was like the transmutation circle. And I think there was one more tile that had to deal with trading in items. Yet there was no item generation side on that board. When I saw that board and I was telling these guys, I was like, I would hate to have that side of the board. That looks really bad. And then it ended up getting that side of the board. And then when we were in draft waiting for characters, I was telling these guys, I'm like, there has to be a character on our team that gives us items. There is no way that Gus would have made the board this way where there's tiles that require items and then you can't get them. And then I was right, we got Gus Fring, which was a way to get items. So it's like these boards and teams are intelligently designed, so you can't just go off of what you think the board itself's power is. So that's my very long-winded answer that yes, it is a bonus, but also in asterisk, it depends. You know?
Yeah, and like depending on what tiles are in which corners, like if you're player 1, like you could pick player 1 because you have the Batmobile like to your left or to your right, and you got first dibs on it. Or like if you're looking for that type of advantage, or if you're like, and like Straw talked about how each spawn could be different, and like I think that's how we're going to weigh it. Like first glance, how are the spawns? Which one do we think we want to play in more? And like what kind of play style are we looking for going into this game? I also like as we've grown in knowledge, I've realized that spot 4 sometimes is really strong because you're in a position where you can manipulate characters, you can manipulate tiles for the end game and for the later mid game. You can put enemies in like rough spots that maybe make them closer to the apocalypse, and like we tried doing that in our last game. We were like, oh, if we could get Yoshi to like eat someone and then spit him out near a FNAF character, like it would have been great for us. And like there are huge benefits to being in 1. There's a bunch of benefits to 2 and 3 because you're at 2, you're on like the opposite side of the board from player 4. At 3, you're on the opposite side of 1, so you're not fighting for like first dibs right away. I think there's a lot of benefits. I've learned to really like position 4, and it sometimes that's regardless of like what tiles may be over there.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely true. I mean, Spawn 4 has the advantage of, obviously the apocalypse stuff, so you get to go last. But I mean, there are also times in the game where going first is a huge virtue. If I'm team 1, I'm going to get to do everything first. I'm going to get first crack at all tile rewards. I'm going to get, especially things like Dragon Quest where you kill one of those guys and then they go away. I'm always going to have first crack at that every rotation. So it is an interesting balance, but I mean, I'm inclined to agree when the game matters a lot. I mean, having Spawn 4 is really helpful, and I don't know, talking about advantages and how this is your first time around the block. I mean, game 1, that's a big game for the Ruby. I mean, their first ever playoff game. You could say the most important game they've ever played. How crucial is it to your strategy to come away with the victory in game 1?
I don't think we're not planning that we need to win this game, but I think every single game we're going in with a strong foot. Like we're going to try and win every single game.
Winning game 1, I would say, isn't the most important game to win. I think winning every game is what we should be shooting for, and that's what our strategy is, winning every single game. And so that's what we have put forward, is to have, again, back to the 1 seed advantages, we get to see everybody before they see who we play. All right, so we know how our players play. We know how everybody else in the league plays. So we're going to use those matchups to our advantage. Everybody's free on our team, so you never know who we're going to throw out. And we're going to have some fun.
I feel like for our team, I mean, if you do look at the stats, I do have like the most wins, but I wouldn't say it's just because of my abilities. I think it's just because of, in the player chair, I've been able to get it done the most. And that's not like saying I'm the best player on the team, because I feel like our players on our team are like super even when it comes to skill wise. But I think having me in the player chair, like I've been there before. Obviously, like I was kind of in the playoffs last year. And I think, with the Astro Bears, it's like if I'm playing the game, that doesn't mean that everyone else doesn't have input. Like it's gonna be like a room full of guys like, helping out, and it's gonna be, it's not going to just be a one man team. It's like it's like at the Astro Bears you're playing. You're not just playing Max. That's what I think about that.
It doesn't necessarily affect our strategy as much as some other teams might need that win, because we're going to play our game regardless. We could get to game 3 and be winless, and I think I'm still confident in that. That's still a chip towards us. Like, we could get that game 4 and 5 to win it all. But so I think a win from Dr. Luke would be huge, and it would. I mean, he's he is the best to ever do it. So I'm confident in his ability to win. And I think it would definitely help us, have that win under your belt, get it out early. But I don't think it would change much in our strategy going forward to future games. I think we just play our game, and we play it, in Los Cuties fashion. And not much changes usually, I feel like, from the game to game preparation in terms of, do we need to win or do we not need to win? We just always go for the win.
Recently, we've seen the regular season change in terms of the Information Act. A new rule where you got to talk above board and you can't talk privately, right? And we're entering our first playoff run where we're starting to see that actually play into effect, right? What do you think about that new rule? But also, how do you think that new rule is going to affect the political landscape in its first ever appearance in the playoffs?
Well, I think at first when I heard this rule, I wasn't the biggest fan because I just knew that, going into like the beginning of the season, like that was the way that we were able to win a lot of games, was our, communication with other teams and like our relations with the other teams, outside of like the actual online game. So I think it hurt us a little bit in the beginning, but I think being able to, adjust to it and like work around it, I think it's going to be like good in the long run. Personally, for me, I'm very, very like looking forward to it, and I'm excited to like see this rule, make its way into the playoffs, just because like I know there's not any like stuff going on behind my back that I'm not going to know of. Like, it's all going to be like on stream. It's going to be there. I don't have to worry about, two teams like making a secret alliance against me behind my back. And I mean, if they figure out a way to do it where, teams can still team up without me figuring that out, like I don't really know how it's going to go, but I feel like it gives me a lot more confidence knowing that it's against the rules for them to, team up behind my back. You know what I mean?
I think as a community, we are all about to be better people and more articulated with how we speak, because everybody now has to talk and speak on the board. It's also opened up kind of the new realm of possibility, because we're finding out who's kind of, who's a hairpin away from, pulling the trigger just impulsively, right? Or, who's very docile actually, and, they don't play like their captain, and they're kind of, we're seeing more and more different like play styles, I think, is the best way. And it's putting more personality to the league, which I think is always needed. It's the best way to have a well-run league with a lot of people, is to, have our personalities out there and being able to put a face to a name, or a play style to a name, all that kind of stuff that comes with it.
Cuties' thoughts on the Information Act.
Yeah,
we love it.
They're big fans.
I think I'm a huge fan. I think it just like, I feel like we have a bit of an advantage in a way, I guess, because it favors our style of play, because we didn't backstab people. We weren't known for that. Like, that wasn't a part of how we did things. So those teams that relied on that sneaky little text to so-and-so to oh, hey, like, do this while they're not looking, break your alliance, stab them in the back type play. Not to call out names or anything. So JD. So like, I think it favors us, because we can continue to play our same game and thrive at it. And I think it just makes it more enjoyable and not having to worry about so and so texting someone behind your back to betray you. You know, not that backstabbing can't happen. I think it just, you know, it's better that, you know, you're at least a little made aware, you know, because if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. And it forces people to work together more, I think, too, which is good. And I think it's better for the viewer too, because
I agree.
you actually know what's going on. You know, you don't have to, you know, we don't have access to the chat logs in real time of what everybody's saying. So, you know, you're watching and then, whoa, wait, the llamas just full blitz the cuties. Wait, I could have sworn that they had said on mic that they were in a non-aggression pact. What? And then turns out, oh yeah, they had received a text from the Beavers or someone, be like, oh yeah, here's the perfect time to strike, you know, stuff like that. And so I think the just overall communication has improved for just everybody, honestly, and I think it's led to a better game. I think it's led to a more defensively based strategy. A lot of teams are a lot less likely to blitz. I'm thinking back to a game I had where, you know, to a lot of players' detriment, I feel like actually, like, it seemed like everybody was just building until the eventual boom, and then just everything broke loose, and it was crazy. But I do think that it's been overall good for the game and the community, for sure.
That felt like a buff for our team.
Yeah.
And it's just because, like, we just aren't near, like, most of the majority of the community. Like, we're not in, like, the same circles to where we can converse about the game. I feel like people probably often talked about maybe, like, hey, this game's coming up, and like oh, it's gonna be really fun. And then, like, if the players are playing each other, they're like, hey, did you want to, like, target someone? And then like we make it to, like, second and first. So, like, I feel like that happened pretty often. And then even over text, for people who were distant like us, like, you could do that same thing, but it almost didn't feel as binding. Or not, because, like, you're like, yeah, I'll have an alliance with you for like the first 2 turns. Yeah. And then, like, during the game, they're like, I actually have an alliance with everyone on the board, and you're just my least ally. So, like, okay, and that's how it felt sometimes. Yeah. But, like, now with the new rule, like, we've had, it feels like we have so much more agency with, like, what's going on, and, like, in the mindset of all the players, rather than people going in predetermined, kind of thinking like, oh, this is how I want it to go. You play the game based on the events that happen on the board, and, like, who's getting stronger, who's gaining tile rewards that are scary. And, like, it's really changed the game. It's made it so much more fun to watch as well. Like, it's been great for the league. And that, maybe I'm biased, it's been really good for the Raptors.
No, I agree.
So going into the playoffs, I'll say a little bit and I'll give it to Straw. But I think that most of what I said was true. I think that we start off the playoffs with, like, oh, this is the sphere. We're all trying to win. We're just playing based off the game. And then after that, each game with each win, we'll see politically how that changes. And I'm most curious for the third game. Like, how's that going to boil down? And, like, which team's going to, like, maybe you don't even have sides. Maybe everyone's just free for all in, but the 2 dudes who haven't won are, like, more friendly. And, like, we'll have to see how it turns out, but I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I think I just agree with most of what he said. The Information Act is definitely a buff. I think also, like, from my perspective of coming in as, like, I don't want to say an outsider because I didn't feel like an outsider, but definitely, like, I came into this community of people that had known each other for a long time. And so it was a bit of a nerf before the Information Act, because it's a lot easier to reach out to a guy you've known for longer to behind the scenes politically speak about it.
Yeah.
So when I heard about the Information Act, I was like, this is huge. I can, like, talk over the board, even though we still see, I think it was even in, not last game, but in Timothy's game, where somebody was like, you know, I've known so and so for a long time. You know, I'm just, you know, I'm gonna
Oh
keep
yeah,
going
Tennessee
with them
Turtle
'cause I
Man
trust them.
versus Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, what can you do about that? That's not an unfair thing to say. Is like, I know this guy isn't just gonna turn on me versus I don't know you very well. So there's still that, but I think that's a lot less of a factor than it is now, and I think that's why it's a buff. Is as I get to know people more, it's easier to play through this game, and it's easier for people to get to know me and me to get to know other people. And at the core of the league, where it's like people getting to know each other, I think it's a lot more. It aligns with the core of the community much better, and the playoff implications. I mean, I just think it's going to be fun because now everything is in front of the stream. People can watch it. It buffs the watch experience. I kind of mentioned it a little bit before, just with the playoff, the kind of politics of where, you know, game 3 or 4 things get interesting, where now you're saying like you can more outwardly state your intentions because you have to outwardly state your intentions to the board, especially if you're the player in game 4 who hasn't won a game yet and you're starting to lose. You're like, hey, other guys, only one of you 3 are gonna win. You need to help me to win, or else your chances of winning are actually going down if you let me lose. Like, there's gonna be a ton of that stuff, I can tell already, and I think that's gonna make it interesting because it's not unfair to call out the playoff status in playoffs. I think that's what makes it interesting, and why I think there's gonna be a game 5, and why I'm excited to see that there's a game 5, because now not only have you had it's like game 1 again, except now you have the history of playoffs of game 1 through 4 implicating the politics in game 5, which is why I hope to see it, because I think that'd make the most interesting political game of the year. It would be insane, and that, I think, because of politics, it just makes it makes it more likely to have that game 5. So that's my thoughts. I love that change.
And man, it was awesome to hear, the answer to some of those questions. All of those questions, by the way, were organized by JD. I was just the messenger. So big credit to you, JD. And I'm excited to see what the community response is to some of these stirrings of the pot a little bit.
I know. I wasn't there, so I'm excited to hear what these players said. Obviously, I kind of heard what my player Max Power said, but I mean, I'm interested to see. You know, does it cause some? What did the answers? Did they take the diplomacy way of saying it, the smart way, or did they give their honest opinion of what they feel about these teams?
Well, we picked some people that I think would be a little bit more fiery, and
I think we did. I think we picked up the perfect people for this.
Which I love.
This
I love. You gotta love the passion and the honesty. So, but I mean, JD, I mean, we could let everybody go, but I mean, I think first maybe we should talk about just this upcoming week here. And this was kind of a question we asked some of the players, but how important is playoff game 1? And I don't know. I think we can look at the history to see. Because historically, the team that was the 1 seed wins game 1 every year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Llamas won game 1 last year. They were the 1 seed. The Cuties won season 1, and they were the 1 seed. It's been consistent, right? So that would lead you to assume that whoever the Salamanders play is going to win this game. And season 1, we saw that work really well for the Cuties. Season 2, we saw that kind of slip through the fingers of the Llamas. But I think my professional opinion, JD, I'm interested to hear what you think, is that if you win game 1, you have the most chances to win a second game. And I understand it's hard in game 2. I understand it's hard in game 3. Maybe it's even hard in game 4. But you have more chances than every other team to get that second win and to get out early. That's kind of what I think. So I wouldn't say your team should be stressing if you don't win game 1, but I would view it as if we lose game 1, we're already playing from behind. Furthermore, I'll make this statement that's very clear. If you don't win game 1 or 2, you are severely behind. is kind of how I feel, what I think. I mean, what do you think, JD?
No, I think I was literally about the same thing if you didn't say that. I think game one is very important. It kind of sets the tone. We saw with the Cuties, they were able to get it done when they won game one. The Llamas weren't able to. But I think you are correct with the statement that it gives you the best odds, because once you win that game one, I don't really see a world where you're going to win that game two, just because it's like so many eyes are on you. So that's why I think game one and game two, winning those are the most important right off the bat. After that, though, if you won game one, after that game two, you have those best odds, because that game three is now like a 50-50 in terms of who's has wins. And you have game four, you have another chance, and then game five. So you basically have, in my mind, if you win game one, you have 3 chances to win the Legacy Cup. If you win game two, you have a few less chances. And if you win game three, then you only have 2 more chances after that. And if you win the game four, you only have that game 5 left. So yeah, I agree. Game one, I think, is very important. I don't think it's you have to win it. I think it puts you in a better spot. It's less stressful. You don't have to think less of that. Game 3 and game 4 is less of like, I don't have to win. Like, I can position myself in a good spot to put myself in the best chance of winning. And if I don't win it, then it's okay, because I already have that first win. So yeah, game one, very important. You don't have to win it to win the Legacy Cup, but I mean, for my team, we're pushing to win that game one. I mean, you want to set that tone. You want to be like, we're the first team to get that playoff win. I think it's also kind of like a bragging right to win that first game, because the first game is also there's like zero diplomacy coming into it right off the bat, because no one has a win, so it's very even. And there's usually some really good guys in that first game. We saw the first 2 seasons. So winning that first game, I think, is a bragging right for that team. Obviously, the Legacy Cup is the most important, but I think winning that game to win Legacy Cup is the most important. But I think right after that is game one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would agree. Game 1 and game 5, right? If it comes to a game 5, game 5 is the most important game in like history every year. But to make it to a game 5, or to ensure that, you know, maybe you don't go to a game 5, because if you're a team, you don't want to. You want to win in like 3. You want to win in 4.
Yeah.
Like, I think we'll look back in like 10 years and we'll be like, what are the most dominant playoff teams? And if a team ever wins it in 2, that's going to be the answer right there. It'll kind of be like in the NBA, you know, like, what do they win? How many games do they take to win? And like, how much of a sweep is it, right? NBA, when you win in 4, it's like, wow, that team crushed those other teams. And if a team wins in 2, it's like, wow. Which I don't know if that's ever going to happen. 2 is kind of ridiculous. But 3, I think also players have been evolving. I think players have gotten to a point where when they have people coming at them, they're a lot better at mitigating that pressure and it still being able to win some games. I mean, we've seen some people get targeted this season and come through with a victory. Like, if you're asking me, like Dr. Luke, he was revealed to play this first game here. If he plays game 3, you're telling me that Dr. Luke can't win game 1 and game 3? Like, that can happen. It totally can. I think he could do, like, legitimately do that. And that would be nuts. We were talking a little bit yesterday, like, man, if Dr. Luke wins game 1 and 3, he would be 10-5 in his career. He would have 3 playoff wins. He would win MVP, which would give him Captain of the Year, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. He would like. I was like, man, what do we do, JD, if that happens? And he was like, I don't know. We just need to start like getting serious about the Dr. Luke Glaze. I don't know. If Dr. Luke takes it up a level, Dr. Luke Glazers also have to take it up a level, you know? Like, I don't know. That would be insane, but
no, that would be insane. Also, I was also thinking about with the rule change, I think it makes it even more possible, because now before you could 3v1, but you all get on the phone call and they don't know what your plan is to take them out. Now, Luke is sitting there and he's hearing everyone talk about it and know what they're going to do. And with Luke playing that game, there's a very high chance where he could figure out where they messed up in that plan and he takes advantage of it.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I'm really interested. I am excited to see what the playoffs yield this year. That's going to be the end of the episode for us, guys. But I mean, JD, as the person who is leading their team to their first playoff game in history, you get the final word, man.
Okay. Well, Asher Bears, if you're watching this right now, lock in, show up to this game. It's going to be fun. If you're in the playoffs, get ready. If you're not in the playoffs, you still should be watching because this is going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun Saturday.